east of Italy, northwest of Greece. I grew up during the harsh years of communism, grew up dirt poor, where most nights I went to bed hungry. That was my life for about 18 years. I remember just lines to buy bread and to buy milk. Really a very tough life, very isolated country. And if the government heard you complain, like if you were to be in line to buy food for your family, and let's say you got there's no more food, if you were to complain, they would kill you. I mean, they would have imprisoned your whole family. So that was my life growing up. Talk about psyche damage. Age 18, I left my family, my country, came to America by myself, a few $100s, no English, closed my bag, small suitcase. I tell people all the time that you don't have, the Albanian dream, Mexican dream, Chinese dream, right? So came here, learned English. It took me about a year and a half to buy my very first car. So I had a bicycle my first year and a half. At that time, I worked for Pizza Hut. Anybody here likes Pizza Hut? So I worked for them. And I remember one night, you guys, riding my bicycle home, and I remember just looking up. I'm like, God, thank you that I live in America. Thank you that I have a job and I don't have to walk home. So I was very grateful for the moment. I wanted more. I could see this day, but just grateful for the opportunity. So learned English, went to college. 3 years later, my GPA was 1.6. I dropped school. Anybody here can beat that? There's one in every crowd, just about. So dropped college. Freshman school for 3 years, and became a pizza delivery driver, 2 jobs. Worked about 65, 70 hours per week. And one day I'm kind of scratching my head. I'm thinking, there's got to be more to life than just, knock on somebody's door, hope for a dollar tip. That's about the one skill I had. And timing is everything. I met a guy in church, and this guy just showed me the business. He caught me at a time when I was searching and praying for a breakthrough, applied for different jobs. Nobody gave me a chance, no experience, no degree, tough economy. All I knew was just deliver pizzas, a bunch of fears. Just to share with you guys briefly my insecurities at the time. I remember my pastor one time asked me to serve communion. And I'm like, I can't do that. He said, why not? I'm like, me being in front of people, everybody looking at me, don't make me do that. He said, well, you're not going to talk. I said, yeah, but all those eyes. So you'll be fine. Just we need your help this morning. And you guys, I'm serving. Here's how simple it is. You get the plate, you come over here, you pass the plate, comes back, you get it. And when I'm nervous, I sweat. You think I have a thick accent now? When I'm nervous, it became so thick I could not even understand myself. So I had great hands. I'm sweating, my neck all the way down to my butt, and I'm thinking, I hope they don't think I had an accident. As soon as it was over, I went to the bathroom, look back, and okay, there's nothing. So that's where I was, broken, no network, but I got excited. I had a guy that spoke hope, he spoke life, he told me about what's possible, and I tried something else before, didn't pan out, and my second business where I found the breakthrough did not come easy. Now that I look back, I'm happy and I'm grateful for all the challenges, because I would not be who I am today. 2011, I had my biggest breakthrough. My company, we were in services. Now, imagine going from trying to build, I was building for like 2-3 years, and they changed from services to health and wellness. Yeah, you're like, oh my gosh. Most people left. I was left with a handful of people, just a couple dozen people. I'm broke at this time. 2011 was one of the worst years financially, but did some soul searching, and somehow deep down I felt like I gotta stay here. Most people, it gets hard. They change teams, they change companies, they look up, they look sideways, they blame upline, downline, crossline. They blame everybody but themselves. So I'm like, you know what, I gotta relaunch again, but somehow I'd lost the dream. Went to a big event in October of 11, mastermind event, and that month, by the way, thank God that was the worst month for me I used to be broke, but in October of 11, I was 40,000 in debt. I owed money to IRS. I mean, I was not just zero. I'm like below. I'm like, way down. Didn't know how to pay my mortgage that month. Looking for a job, and I go to this event, and every speaker that spoke, somehow my dream got rekindled. I started to believe a little bit more, and the whole event was about decisions, dreaming again, believing again, because your beliefs really, they control what you do or what you don't do. So the event is over. I'm excited. I made new decisions. I'm walking outside the whole event. On the hallway, I see a friend of mine that I had not seen in like 4 or 5 years. His name was Chris, and you can tell a $4,000 or $5,000 suit, nice watch. We got to talk, and by the conversation, realized this guy's back in increase again. I asked him, Chris, what does it mean? He goes, well, 60 grand a month. And I'm like, whatever. I'm like, Chris, I love you, but I don't believe you. Show me. So he gets his iPad out. He shows me, and lo and behold, 60,000 a month in income. Now, that's a lot of money. And my jaw dropped. I'm like, where did it go? Where did it go? And I look at him in the eye. I'm like, Chris, what happened? What changed? A few years ago, you were broke, you were struggling. What changed, man? He put his hand in my shoulder, looked at me in the eye, said, Andy, I dreamed again. I dreamed again. I got excited again. And he challenged me that if you can dream one more time, if you can get excited one more time, if you can just roll your sleeves up one more time, forget the past, just forget what lies behind, focus on what lies ahead. He said, this is it. So that conversation, combined with me hitting rock bottom and a new decision, then I had this new goal. I had a new goal. I went back home and I spoke it to every person I came in contact with. I'm a big believer in the power of confession. What you confess, you possess. And I believed so much on my goal that the next year I was going to have this huge breakthrough that, guys, I could have bet my life. Hear me out. Every ounce of my body believed that next year I was going to achieve my goal. I mean, every ounce. And the more I said it, the more I believed. And lo and behold, that next year I had a huge breakthrough. And I look back today, I'm so grateful, because I'm a believer. If it can happen for a guy like me that started broke, started behind, pizza delivery driver, immigrant, was not even born in this country, got started with 40,000 in debt, had a car that honked by itself. True story. I mean, we don't have much time, but I can tell you stories that will make you laugh and make you cry. Like my first few meetings, I had to park 2 blocks away. I mean, I'd be there listening to the speakers, and I'm like, yeah, here's my dream, here's where I'm going, and there's a honking car outside. But it's not, I'm telling you guys, it's not where you are, it's where you want to go. So whatever you're going through today, embrace it. Know that it's there to sharpen you, give you wisdom, and I think I'm a believer God has a plan, and you guys are at the right place at the right time, with the right people, for the right reasons, and appreciate you guys, and just stay the course. It's an amazing profession. I'm grateful to be here. So thank you.
One thing that that I know in your story is at that mastermind event, Richard Brooke spoke, and you saw him afterwards. And how did that go? Because now you're speaking on the same stage as it.
Gosh, yeah. So I'm at the event. I get inspired. Richard Brooke spoke, power of vision. This whole concept of the 4-year career. And I went to the guy. I said, Richard, can I buy you lunch? So here I am. I'm praying. I hope that my credit card works. There's no money in my debit card. He said yes. So I bought him lunch at that event. And he just spoke hope, spoke life. I had certain beliefs, and it's crazy. Like, okay, let's say if I want to lose weight, but if I don't believe I can lose weight, will I go to the gym? Will I go for a salad? I mean, the belief controls their behavior, and most people never challenge themselves, or they never ask themselves the question, what do I believe? Where did it come from? Is it serving me or is it not? And so by my conversation with him, he found out what was holding me back. He talked about the power of limiting beliefs and kind of destroyed that. And he challenged me, said, man, you know, you're in the right profession. Because I was just brainwashed. I mean, it's crazy what, I mean, you know, our minds are so powerful. And just, I was holding me back. You're holding me back. I mean, really. I mean, you're born in, for so much more. You're born in your courageous image. But yeah, I met him. He challenged me and spoke hope, spoke life. I believed him. That's the key. I believed him, and I acted on it. And it's been such an amazing journey. But I gotta say this. My why was to give back to my parents. My parents gave everything so that their son could go to America, go to school. I mean, their retirement, I mean, all they had. And I was so embarrassed, you guys, because I blew through their whole retirement, and I'm a freshman in college for 3 years. They both have masters, and here I am, you know, no college degree. And so what drove me, so I just wanted to give back to them. And because of the business, I've been able to bring them over, travel, gosh, coast to coast, border to border, Caribbeans, everything. But first time they came over in America, you know, they always wonder, what does he do? Is he, does he sell drugs? I told them health and wellness, and they never believed him. They never believed me. But you know, the night before they left the country, I told them the whole story. I took them to my very first apartment. We parked, you know, walked around. Took them to the college I tried to attend. Walked around, told a bunch of stories. And I took them to my pizza place, you know, second job, third job. Just took a whole afternoon sharing with them my whole journey, how I got here, what happened, all my challenges, what drove me, now my breakthrough. And as I'm driving home that night, they're both in the backseat of my car. Dad, you know, they were both emotional. Dad was just, you know, tears in his eyes and said, son, I'm so proud of you, great job. Mm-hmm. And that's what this profession has done for me. So if you believe, and this event can be those defining moments for you guys, if you allow it, if you embrace your challenge, because most people use their obstacles as an excuse. I use them as fuel. And you go back, setting your goal, and speak it, believe it, act on it, and gosh, you never know what a year, the difference that a year can make. And I can't wait to someday meet you guys, shake your hand, and hear your breakthrough. So love you guys. Appreciate it.